Welcome back to Inherited Dawn, a One Piece podcast. We are breaking down chapter 69 today, Arlong Park. And look, we have to start at the end. We just have to.
We do, because after everything with Barati, with Sanji joining, with the crew feeling more complete than ever, the chapter ends with this image of Nami, standing shoulder to shoulder with the enemy.
An officer in the Arlong Pirates. I mean, come on. The ground just fell out from under us. I felt like I got hit by a cannonball. The hope, the joy of Sanji joining, the beautiful send-off from Zeph, it all just evaporates in that single final moment. If you want to be on this journey with us as we figure out what in the world is going on here, make sure your Den Den Mushi is tuned to this channel. Hit that follow, because this arc just started, and it's already a gut punch.
Let's start from the top. As you said, it makes that final reveal even more potent when you see how the chapter begins. It's a textbook example of narrative whiplash, and it is masterfully done.
Right. So we're on the Going Merry. The mood is immaculate. Sanji is officially on board, serving up some incredible-looking food. Yosaku is healed up thanks to the new cook, and Luffy is just vibrating with excitement. He's got his feet kicked up on the Merry's head, just basking in the sun. He's talking about how Zeph told him the Grand Line is a paradise.
And you can feel the hope. It's palpable. The scene is bright. The sky is clear. Sanji has found his dream of the all blue and a ship to sail towards it. Luffy has his cook, a crucial position he's been trying to fill from the very beginning. The crew is expanding. It feels like the real adventure is about to begin. The prologue of their journey, the East Blue, is reaching its climax. They have a swordsman, a navigator, a sharpshooter, and a cook. They are a proper pirate crew now.
But Yosaku, who is supposed to be the comic relief bounty hunter guy, immediately throws a giant bucket of Arctic ice water on that whole parade. He gets this dead serious look on his face and starts talking about the dangers, about how paradise is just one name for it. The other more common name is the pirate's graveyard.
That's a chilling phrase. It reframes everything. We've seen them beat Buggy, Kudo, and Don Krieg. We feel like they're unstoppable, but Yosaku is here to remind us, and them, that the East Blue is considered the weakest of the four seas. They haven't even made it to the tutorial island yet, in the grand scheme of things.
He's the first person to really lay out the power structure of the world for us. He's not a fighter, but he's a bounty hunter. He knows the landscape. He knows who the monsters are. He's seen people with dreams just as big as Luffy's get swallowed whole. And he gives that danger a name, the Seven Warlords of the Sea.
Shichibukai. It sounds so much more imposing in the original Japanese. And this is a monumental lore drop. It's the moment the world of One Piece quadruples in size and complexity.
This is what I love about the world building in this story. It's not just stronger enemies, it's a whole new political and power structure just dropped on us. We had the pirates and we had the Marines. Simple. Cops and robbers. But now we have 7 elite pirates who are, get this, hired by the world government itself. It's like finding out the FBI has a secret deal with 7 of the most powerful mob bosses on the planet.
Okay, but think about what this means on a deeper level. The world government, the entity that the Marines serve, the supposed ultimate authority on the planet, has pirates on its payroll. It tells you their power isn't absolute. They can't control the seas on their own. They've looked at the chaos of the Great Pirate Era, an era their own actions precipitated by executing Roger, and concluded they cannot win.
They can't. They had to compromise their own ideology to maintain a semblance of order. They have to make deals with the devils they're supposed to be fighting. It's brilliant. It makes the world feel so much more complex and unstable. It's not black and white, good and evil. It's a messy gray world where power is the only true currency. The Marines are not the undisputed kings of the sea.
This concept introduces a fascinating moral ambiguity. If a pirate is working for the government, are they still a bad guy? If the government is using pirates to hunt other pirates, is their justice truly just? It complicates Luffy's simple dream. He wants to be the freest man on the sea, but the sea is governed by these incredibly complex, corrupt, and compromised systems of power.
It's a machine designed to keep anyone like Luffy, anyone truly free, from ever succeeding. It's a machine built to crush dreams. And Yosaku is laying the blueprint for that machine right out on the deck of the Going Merry.
And then Yosaku names two of them. The first is a name we've just recently and very painfully learned, Draculae Mihawk.
Which just recontextualizes everything that happened to Zoro. My jaw was on the floor when I realized this. He didn't just lose to some ridiculously strong swordsman who happened to be floating by. He lost to one of the 7 pillars of the New World Order, one of the government official monsters. He wasn't just picking a fight, he was challenging a fundamental piece of the global power balance.
It makes Zoro's defeat retroactively even more significant and, frankly, even more impressive. He wasn't just outclassed, he was challenging the system itself without even knowing it. Think about it from Mihawk's perspective. He is the world's greatest swordsman. He could probably cut a mountain in half. And this kid with 3 swords and a boatload of ambition stands in his way in the weakest sea. He could have swatted him like a fly and been done with it.
But he didn't. He saw Zoro's spirit, that refusal to take a step back, and he honored it. He gave him that scar, that goal, and told him to climb. He recognized that this wasn't just some punk. This was someone who could, one day, actually stand on his level. Now we know what that level is. It's not just being a great fighter. It's being so powerful that the world government has no choice but to negotiate with you.
The fact that Zoro survived an encounter with a warlord is in itself a staggering achievement. He lost the fight, but in a way, he won the war for his own future. Now he knows exactly how high the mountain is that he needs to climb, and we, the readers, now understand the true scale of his dream.
Exactly. It's not a ladder, it's a web. It's all connected. And then Yosaku drops the other name, a fishman named Jinbe.
And here's another huge piece of lore, dropped so casually. We've had devil fruits, different islands, unique fighting styles, but this is the first real concrete mention of another sentient civilized species living in the sea. Fishmen and merfolk. The world of One Piece just got bigger again. It's not just a human world.
Of course, Sanji's brain immediately short-circuits. He hears merfolk and just starts picturing beautiful mermaids on Fishman Island. It's the perfect Sanji moment. The world is getting darker, more dangerous, more politically complex, and our guy is just thinking about beautiful fish ladies. He's got hearts in his eyes imagining this underwater paradise.
It's a necessary moment of levity because the next piece of information is anything but. It grounds the scene and reminds us of the character's core desires. Sanji is there for the all blue, yes, but he's also a romantic dreamer. This mention of mermaids fuels his personal fantasy just as much as finding the legendary sea fuels his professional one. But the tonal shift that comes next is brutal.
Yeah, brutal is the word. Yosaku explains that this warlord, Jinbe, had a connection to another fishman pirate, one who broke away, the strongest of his former crew now operating here in the East Blue, a guy named Arlong.
And suddenly, the scale of our immediate problem snaps into focus. The camera zooms in. We just learned about this global-level threat, the Warlords, this abstract concept of immense power on the Grand Line, and now we find out our next villain is directly connected to one of them. He's not a local threat. He's an import from that much more dangerous world.
He's not just some random thug who got strong. He has a pedigree, a reputation. He served under one of the 7 most dangerous pirates recognized by the government. Yosaku lays it all out. He suspects Nami, who just stole their ship and all their treasure, is heading straight for Arlong's base.
This is where the crew dynamic is tested. Luffy, bless his heart, is just confused. Why would she go there? He doesn't suspect malice, just a bad decision. But Sanji, naturally, refuses to believe it at all. He trusts Nami implicitly. His line is something like, he'd never doubt the tears of a beautiful woman.
Which is so pure Sanji. It's not just him being a flirt. He's a romantic and a chivalrous knight to his core. For him, a woman's tears are the most sacred, honest thing in the world. He can't conceive of a woman he admires being deceitful in that way. He just can't. He believes she must be in some kind of trouble, not that she's a villain.
It's his guiding principle, and it's about to be put to the ultimate test, because Yosaku has the receipts. He recalls when he and Johnny were with Nami earlier, they saw Arlong's wanted poster, and the way she reacted, the sheer venom and hatred in her eyes, it was a dead giveaway.
That's the kind of subtle, long game setup that makes this series so good. It's like a magic trick. You're shown the key and you don't even realize it's the key. Her reaction wasn't just some random character quirk like, oh, she really hates pirates. It was a clue. It was the key to this entire mystery. It was put right in front of us, and we just thought it was part of her general anti-pirate persona.
Let's connect the dots here, because it's fascinating to look back. Her obsession with collecting money, her supposed hatred of all pirates, which always felt a little too intense, a little too personal, her specific encyclopedic knowledge of bounties. It's all starting to form a very dark picture. She wasn't just a thief who hated pirates, she was a thief who hated one pirate in particular. And she was targeting pirates specifically because they were the ones with the big score she needed to reach her goal.
And his bounty is 20 million belly. Let's put that in perspective. Buggy was 15 million. Don Krieg was 17 million. This guy is the final boss of this sea, and not by a small margin. That 3 million belly jump from Krieg signifies a whole other level of danger and influence. Arlong isn't just the strongest, he's the king of the East Blue's underworld.
And that's where Nami's headed, to a place Yosaku names Arlong Park. Then the scene just cuts. No transition, no gentle lead-in. We're there. And it's immediately unsettling. The architecture is all curves and fins and sharp teeth. The symbol is a saw-nosed shark. Everything feels alien, and we meet Arlong himself for the first time.
He's a saw shark fishman, and he's terrifying. His design is incredible. The long serrated nose, the webbed hands, the rows of sharp teeth. He exudes power and arrogance just sitting there. And he's in the middle of a business meeting with a marine captain, a Weasley-looking guy named Nezumi.
And it's just the most blatant, disgusting corruption imaginable. Arlong is literally handing him a briefcase full of money. There's no pretense, no subtlety, no back alley deal. This is happening in daylight, in the throne room of the pirate fortress. Arlong is paying the local Marines to look the other way.
Arlong says something truly chilling. He tells Nezumi to relax and celebrate in the one language they both understand, money. That line says everything. To Arlong, ideals like justice, peace, and order are meaningless human constructs. The only thing that's real, the only thing that connects his species to the inferior humans, is greed.
It's disgusting. This is the rot at the heart of the system. We saw it with Captain Morgan in Shellstown, who was a tyrant using his rank for personal power. But this is different. This is systemic. It's not just that there are pirates, it's that the people meant to stop them are on the payroll. How is anyone supposed to feel safe? How is justice even possible in a world like this? It tells you that Arlong's control over this area is absolute.
Nezumi is jumpy. He's worried someone will see his marine ship docked at a pirate fortress, as he should be. It shows the deal is secret from the upper levels, but the fact that it's happening at all tells you everything you need to know about this region. Arlong doesn't just rule this island through fear of his strength, he rules it through systemic corruption. He has bought his safety from the law. He has created his own kingdom, with its own rules, right under the nose of the world government. He's not just breaking the rules, he owns the referees. It makes him 1,000 times more terrifying than a guy like Don Krieg. Krieg was a blunt instrument. He wanted to conquer with force and numbers. Arlong is a strategist. He's a king. He has built an empire, complete with a financial relationship with the local government. He's insulated. How do you even begin to fight that?
And just as Nezumi is about to scurry away with his bribe money, Arlong stops him. He says something about introducing him to one of his officers. And then he says the line, the only human he can trust.
My heart just sank. I knew it. You know what's coming. You can feel it in your bones. The dread is just building and building. The only human he can trust. A fishman who clearly despises humans trusts one? Why?
And in she walks, Nami, looking confident, comfortable. She gives Nezumi a cold, dismissive look. She addresses Arlong with a casual familiarity. She's part of it. She's one of them. She's sitting at the table with the monster.
And that's the end of it. Just boom, drop the mic. Our navigator, our friend, the one who literally holds the course of their dream in her hands, is revealed to be a ranking member of the most dangerous, corrupt, and powerful pirate crew in the East Blue? Super. That is a masterful cliffhanger. I probably wanted to throw something across the room the first time I saw that reveal.
The line, "the only human Arlong can trust," is the entire mystery encapsulated in a single phrase. It's a paradox. Why would a fishman who seems to hold so much power over humans, who seems to view them as nothing more than walking wallets, trust one? And more importantly, what has Nami done? What has she endured to earn that specific poisoned trust? Trust from a monster is not a compliment. It's a condemnation.
This is not a betrayal. I refuse to believe it. I'm with Sanji on this one. This is a hostage situation. It has to be. She's been playing a role this entire time, a deep cover operation from hell, and we just found out what the play is. The question is why? What could Arlong possibly have on her that would force her to do this, to betray her own nature, to work for a pirate, the one thing she claims to hate more than anything?
Her stated goal was to collect a massive amount of money to buy a certain village. We always assumed it was for her own freedom or some personal luxury, but what if it's not for her? What if she's trying to buy something back? A village, a person, her own life. That goal suddenly feels less like a goal and more like a price tag.
Bro, that's it. That has to be it. She's not saving up, she's paying a ransom. That's why every single belly mattered so much. It wasn't greed, it was desperation. That's why she was so ruthless, so single-minded. Every coin was a drop in the bucket to save something she loves. And she's been carrying that weight, that horrible secret, all by herself this whole time.
And that makes her departure from the crew even more heartbreaking. Think about her time on the Mary. She found a place she belonged, people she could actually trust and laugh with. Luffy, who valued her for her dream and not her utility. Zoro, who bickered with her but would die to protect her. Usopp, a fellow schemer she could bond with. And Sanji, who adored her unconditionally. She found a family. And she had to walk away from it, steal from them, and break their trust to go back to the monster she's been trying to escape.
Luffy is not gonna let this stand. There is a 0% chance. Zoro's not. Sanji and Usopp, not a chance in hell. They're not gonna ask questions. They're not gonna sit down and have a debate about whether she betrayed them. They're just gonna go get their navigator back. That's what a crew does. Luffy's already decided she's his navigator. End of story. The rest is just details to be punched.
This is the first real test of their bond as a crew. Buggy, Kuro, and Krieg, those were all external threats that forced them to unite. This is an internal crisis. One of their own is in the heart of the enemy's camp, seemingly on the enemy's side. How they handle this will define what the Straw Hat Pirates truly are. Are they just a collection of individuals with big dreams, or are they an unbreakable unit?
And I have a feeling it's going to involve punching a fishman through a multi-story building.
I think that's a safe assumption. Arlong Park has a certain structural impermanence about it now that Luffy knows its location.
Before we get into what happens next, Oda's author comment this week was pretty cool. He went to an anime tour event at the Nakano Sun Plaza and spoke in front of 2,000 people. He said it was a valuable experience, and he really enjoyed it.
It's always nice to hear. At this point, the anime was still in its very early stages of production or just beginning to air, so this is him seeing the first fruits of that adaptation. To think he's building this incredible, emotionally devastating world and also taking the time to go connect with the people enjoying it. Good for him.
For sure. So, predictions. This is a big one. The Arlong Park arc feels like it's going to be a defining moment for the series. But first, what are your theories on Nami's real motive? We want to see every single one of them down in the comments. Let's try and piece this puzzle together before Luffy does.
My turn to go first?
Go for it. Lay it on us.
Okay, prediction 1. The very next chapter, or the one immediately after, will open with a flashback. We cannot move the plot forward with any emotional weight until we understand Nami's past. The narrative demands it. We need to see how a little girl who loves drawing maps and talks about charting the whole world ends up as a tattooed officer for a fishman tyrant. We need the context for her pain.
I love that. I need that flashback like I need air. Okay, my first one is less a prediction and more a certainty. Luffy is not going to show a single moment of doubt in Nami. Yosaku and Johnny might try to convince him she's a traitor, but he won't hear it. He's going to hear the news, process it through his simple, loyal brain, and his only question will be which way is Arlong Park. No hesitation, no doubt, pure, uncut loyalty. That's his superpower.
Prediction 2, building on the scene with Captain Nezumi, the corruption is going to be the main obstacle, not just Arlong's raw power. When the Straw Hats arrive and start causing trouble, Nezumi and his branch of the Marines will be dispatched to stop them. They won't just be fighting Arlong's crew, they'll be fighting the law itself. The Marines are going to try and stop Luffy from interfering with Arlong's established territory, protecting their illegal business arrangement.
Ooh, that's good. That makes the fight so much more complicated. My second prediction, Sanji is going to be the one to get the truth out of Nami, or at least be the first one to truly reach her. Not Luffy with his straightforwardness, not Zoro with his stoicism, Sanji. His unwavering, almost foolish belief in her is going to be the thing that finally breaks down the wall she's put up for years. He won't demand an explanation, he'll just offer his help, and that act of pure chivalry is what will get through to her. He's going to be her champion in this arc.
I like that. It would be a powerful validation of his core character trait. My final prediction then, the focus will shift to the village under Arlong's control. The villagers' relationship with Nami is the key to everything. The emotional stakes aren't just about Nami's freedom, but the freedom of her entire home. There will be a deep, complicated history there. They either see her as a traitor who joined their oppressor to save her own skin, creating a layer of tragic misunderstanding, or they secretly know she's a martyr trying to save them. That dynamic, her relationship with her people, will be the emotional core of the entire arc.
That's a lock. It has to be. My last one, and it's a bit of a shonen trope, but I don't care. Zoro is still out there somewhere being carried by Yosaku and Johnny. He's going to be out of commission for the start of the big fight. He's going to reappear at the most critical moment possible. Like, I don't know, in the water, and things look bleak. And suddenly, a third sword will come flying in and change the entire fight. It's going to be a classic badass Zoro entrance when the crew needs him most.
I can absolutely see that happening. He has a flair for the dramatic and a habit of getting lost and showing up at precisely the right or wrong time.
He really does. Man, what a story beat. It's a masterclass in setup. The world has expanded, the stakes have been raised, and our crew has been torn apart. The board has been completely reset. We thought the goal was the Grand Line, but right now the only thing in the entire world that matters is getting our navigator back.
The stakes have never been higher. This feels personal in a way that none of the previous arcs have. This is about family, and there is nothing more dangerous than Monkey D. Luffy when someone messes with his family. Arlong has no idea what's coming for him.
He is about to get his park super renovated. Join us next time as we dive into Chapter 70 and see the beginning of the rescue mission. You are not going to want to miss this.
Until then, keep sailing toward your dawn.